What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday service here on July 10th. Man, the freaking day is basically over. Wow.
Yo.
Dude, I'm looking at what's going to be happening here soon. And another interest rate hike is going to happen. We've got flips on the show, the television show. We've got a couple of flips that are on there that have gotten 0 showings, like decked out, priced right, staged, looking sharp, great neighborhoods, 0 activity. Think we got a market correction coming or what?
I would say so. I mean, when you more than double interest rates within, I don't know, less than 6 months, it's kind of to be expected a little bit. But I mean, I'm just shocked at how fast interest rates have changed. So it's going to be interesting. Happy Sunday, everybody. Pace and I are going to be talking through the market changing, the shifts, and what are we doing to be prepared and not just survive, but to thrive in the changing market. So, Pace, dude, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, dude. I every time I put you on my Instagram, people are always asking me one question. What do you think that question is?
Is he wearing shoes?
Is he wearing shoes? That is 100% the question. So guys, tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of things that are coming up. We like bringing on the live guests. So tonight, I think we're going to probably about 30 minutes. We'll talk. And then I want to bring on some live guests, right? Give you guys some links. You guys can come on and chat with us for a couple of minutes. Ask some live questions. Cody, are you wearing shoes right now?
I am not wearing shoes right now.
Of course you're not. Classic. So I want to bring on people that have questions. If you guys have questions tonight, I'm going to put a link in the comment section. That link is not for you to watch the show. It is very hilarious that when we put that link in there, people click on the link like it's going to send them to a different show. Then they come on the stage. I can see them down there. I bring them up on the stage and I go, "What's your question?" They go, "Oh, I was supposed to ask a question? Why did you click the link?" So just know that when we actually put the link in the side, that link is for you to come and ask us a question, not just a question in the side chat. We answer those 2 questions too, but we want to answer a live question. Eric Richards says, "What's up, Pace? I need to ask a question." Perfect. Love it. I'm putting the link in the side chat. Okay.
Tanisha has an important question.
She knows you well, bro. She knows you well. The answer is probably yes. If he does have socks, they definitely have holes in them. All right, cool. Cody, legit, I am worried about the market. It doesn't mean that it's like doomsday, but I am worried about fix and flips. I'm not worried about buy and holds. That's an interesting thing. Like our buy and holds, have we seen any issues with rentals in the last 3 or 4 months that we have? Anything with Airbnbs? What are we seeing?
Yeah, so in regards to our Airbnbs, we've been still staying pretty steady booked, but I think one of the things that we have to also keep in mind is a lot of the Airbnbs that me and you have here in Arizona, we're not competing against the most popular hot areas in town, because a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I have my Airbnbs all in Scottsdale." And so I have a lot of friends that have Airbnbs in Scottsdale, and they're starting to see a lot more vacancies. For us, because ours are just more, I don't want to say lower end, but kind of like median end. Like we're not super high luxury. We're like, for that median price range. And ours have still been staying pretty booked. Like I'm just pulled up right now and I'm just looking at our properties. I mean, all of last month, we were pretty much 80+% booked on all of our properties here in Phoenix. And even as of right now, three of 6 properties right now that I'm looking at here are booked through most of the month of July. And then the other 3 are kind of like scattered, shorter bookings, but summer's usually a little bit slower anyways. And this is kind of what we saw last summer anyways. So I'm not really seeing too much of a change there. In regards to our rentals, we have 2 problem tenants that have been problem tenants before now. Like they were problem tenants last year and they're still problem tenants, and they just have trouble getting, payments in on time. And so as far as, having to do a bunch of evictions or, tenants not being able to afford rent, we're not seeing that. But also something that we've been doing strategically is the tenants that are good that we have, instead of, like, for example, on a property that we have in Tempe, we had it rented for about $2,000 a month. And with last year inflation going crazy, that same property could rent for $2,400, maybe like a stretch would be $2,500, but $2,400 a month. And we didn't go and give that tenant a rate hike from $2,000 to $2,500. Instead, we went to $2,200. So we're still $200 a month under, but we went to them with a smaller increase, because if we're going to go and give these large increases to our current tenants, they're probably going to end up moving out. And then we're going to have to go and paint them. We're going to have to clean them up. We're going to have to let them sit vacant for a month or two. And those are thousands of dollars of costs. So that's just also a strategy that we're taking with our rentals right now, is doing definitely rent increases, but not significant ones where we're driving our really good paying on time tenants away, because we want to keep those. Those are our assets, are the good paying tenants. So that's what I'm kind of seeing right now.
Yeah, that's great to hear. What property is the $2,200 one?
Country Club.
Ooh, that's
a 0% interest deal.
From an Asian, by the way. Just so you guys know, if you can get a 0% seller finance deal from an Asian seller, you should get a trophy. Okay. That is a deal that I negotiated on a live YouTube video, by the way. And I was talking to Cody, go, hey, what are all of our 0% seller finance deals that we have? Because I want to tell a couple of stories to the students. And he was telling me, and he told me Country Club. I was like, what's Country Club? He's like, you don't remember that? You did on a YouTube live. I was like, oh my gosh, that Asian seller oh my gosh, that's right. Oh my gosh. So that property, I remember we had the tenant in that property had like 4 or 5 roommates, and then we had to go through and filter them out. Is that the same property, or was that a different one?
Yeah, that's the one. We ended up only having to remove one of the 4 tenants that was in there because the guy was doing drugs and stuff. And now the same 4 have been in there since, I don't know, it's probably been a year and a half since we replaced that other bedroom, and they're all getting along great. They treat honestly, that is probably that house, even though there's 4 separate tenants, it is kept up nicer than any other of our rentals. Like, it is spotless clean in there, because the guy that has been living there for 8 years renting one of the bedrooms runs the house like he's the boss. He's the king ding-a-ling of the house, and he just makes everyone follow his rules, and it's actually great. They keep it up really nice.
So what's our payment to the seller at 0% seller finance?
It's about $1,200 a month.
So we're putting $1,200 in our pocket every single month, or at least our tenants are putting $1,200 in our pocket every month. Yep. We're renting it for $2,200 after $2,200. So after property management,
taxes, insurance,
whatever, we're probably netting $500, $600 a month on that.
Yeah, easy, $500-$600 a month. And since nothing really goes wrong there, because they keep it up so nice, service the AC, all those things. I mean, it's been a pretty steady performer for us, so it's been a good one.
How much have we made on that? Because I remember when we bought it and I negotiated it, I basically asked the seller, he just wanted Zillow's number, and I don't remember what it was, but do you remember what we bought it for, and can you look it up and see what it's worth today?
Yeah, so we bought it for, I remember, $330,000, because I remember we put $30,000 down on it. Okay. So $330,000. Let me see if I can pull it
10% down, 0% interest. Anybody upset about that? 10%
That's
down.
Probably one of my favorite ones, because it's in the area then too. It's in Tempe.
I think my favorite one is 87th. Or is it 78th?
Mobile home?
Yeah,
or 78th. Yeah, 78th. Yeah.
78th. It's that mobile home. We got basically zero down, just because of the way we structure the down payment over the course of a year, and 0% seller finance. That payment is $375 a month.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Stupid. What are we renting that thing for, by the way?
That's rented for $1375. It's $1375.
Freaking love it.
Yeah, Country Club is estimates $518. I think last time I actually comped it was about 3 months ago. It was at like 475 was pretty good indicator on that. So about 150,000 in equity growth on it.
Okay, so this kind of ties into what I kind of wanted to talk about for a minute today. Before we got about 6 people on the deck. We've got Tim Torres, Andy Hafer, Jasper Sun, Chris Parsons, Dylan, and Eric Richards that are all on deck right now to have questions answered. Here's what I just heard you say. Okay, so we make cash flow, right? These are the reasons why people buy properties. Okay, we have cash flow, $600 net. It sounds like in our pocket. That's great.
Yep.
Second thing is appreciation. It's the other reason why people buy property. So appreciation on that deal. We've owned it for, let's say, 18 months. It's gone up roughly how much? 150,000?
Yeah, about 150,000.
Isn't that crazy that we divide that for me? To take 150 and divide that by 18, I think it should be 12,000.
I think it's 12. Yeah, I think it's 12,000.
That means we've made $12,000.
Wait, yeah, something like that. Hang on. Let me get the math here. It's divided by 18. Yeah, 8,300 a month. 8,300 a month. Sorry.
That's what we've made is 8,300.
Yep, 8,300 a month.
Okay, so we've made in growth, right? $8,300 per month. And people forget that this is one of the many reasons why you buy a property. Okay. So number 1, cash flow. 2, appreciation. Number 3, depreciation. Right. So we got tax benefits. I'm sure we use depreciation on that.
Yep.
I'm sure you use that, right?
Yep.
So if we bought that for $330,000, let's divide that by 27.5. You got your calculator out right now. What's 330 divided by 27.5?
12,000.
Okay, 12,000 times. What did we do? 5 or 7 years?
5 years.
5 year acceleration. So we got a $60,000 tax benefit for buying this property. And then we divide that 50-50. So you got 30K and I got 30K. That's pretty dope. Okay. Then the fourth reason we buy properties is pay down. So we've made $1,200 a month
times 18, 21,600.
We've made $21,600 in 18 months. And then the other thing, go into these, but there's another reason we buy properties, and it is for leverage. And what does that mean? That means we have equity in this property, so we can go sponsor loans for other people because our net worth is strong enough. And so we can leverage that. We can get lines of credit against that. We can do a whole bunch of things. We can collateralize this against other loans. So many different things that you can do on this property because now you've got all that money. But let's add this up just real quick. In 18 months, we made $21,600. Add this up for me, Cody.
Yep.
At our effective tax rate, that $60,000 is probably a net gain of somewhere around $25,000 in taxes that were thwarted. Real cash in your pocket. So 25,000 plus 21,000 plus 150,000 plus 6,000. What would that be? What's 600 times 18?
Times 18, 10,800 plus 196,600. That's a total of 207,400.
$207,000 on one property in 18 months. So the challenge is, right? If you are assigning deals like this to people like us, right? An assignment for something like this, I would probably pay, I don't know, if somebody actually brought this deal to us, this was a great deal. We locked it up. It was our own lead. So we didn't have to pay an assignment fee, which was great, but we did pay a commission. Probably, what do you think we paid Bryce? Cause he was managing the lead.
I think it was like 2,500 or 3,000 just because I don't think he took it all the way to the finish line. He was like lead managing it essentially.
Right. I had to jump on the phone, close the deal.
Yep.
So he got $2,500 and you and I have essentially made $207,400 in 18 months on one property. In 18 months. That's crazy.
Yep.
Okay, so guys, don't get blinded by just cash flow, right? Don't get blinded by just cash flow. There's multiple things that are multiple reasons why people buy properties. And the powerful thing about how we bought this property using creative finance is that no matter what the economy is doing, as long as we can rent this house out, we're going to make $1,200 every single month in mortgage pay down, which is pretty freaking dope. Do we have a balloon on this deal or no balloon?
We have a 10-year balloon. So,
all right. Well,
plenty of time.
People are telling me that the studio is full, so we got to crank through some of these questions. All right. So we're going to start with Jasper. I don't want to start with Jasper, son. As much as I love Jasper, we've given him so much love on this show the last couple of months that I want to give him. I'll jump on him a little bit last. We'll have to jump on questions really quick tonight, guys. We can't spend a lot of time on your questions individually. I know that that's really hard for me. I typically want to go through and answer somebody's question for 40 minutes. So we're going to go really, really quick tonight. All right. Eric Richards, how you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Loving life, cranking out. What do you got for us tonight?
So I've got an opportunity. I'm meeting with a couple of officers, executives with a bank that are wanting to use my company as like a third-party administrator to bring their foreclosures because they anticipate that their foreclosures are going to go crazy over the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
I've been in your sub 2 for about 4 weeks now. So there's 2 or 3 issues that I think are going to be like addressed when I have the meeting with them. Firstly, probably my experience. And then if it grows, they bring me 30, 40, 50 of these foreclosures. How would I deal with them? Do I keep them all into my company? Do I bring them to the sub 2 group? Like how I grow with it and what I do with them because of their vetting process in order to grant those loans. I don't know that they're going to be willing to just let me choose who I want to do business with. So I would love your advice on how I should go forward with this and anything you can help me before I go to that meeting.
Okay. Number one, there's a reason why you joined sub 2. There's multiple reasons why you joined sub 2. Number one, there's nobody better on planet Earth at teaching creative finance than me. People will claim that they know everything. Oh my gosh. I swear to you, when I sit down with people that say they've been doing this for 20, 30 years, you find out that most of them are not actively buying properties or have not bought properties in 15 years a lot of times. So you're in the right place, right, to learn creative finance. But more important than me, more important than what we teach, the number one reason why you joined sub 2 is because it's not a mentorship. It's a community of people. And Eric, where do you live?
Southeast Ohio.
Okay, so you live in Ohio. Amazing. We have a lot of great students in Ohio. Regardless of whether you're in Ohio or not, we have a lot of great students who are amazing closers with a ton of experience. So the experience thing is a moot point, right? You can just bring in a student that's been in the program for a year or 2 years, or some students like an Uncle Lonza who joined it. He was like the 7th student. You could bring him to the table and say, hey, Uncle Lonzo, will you come with your credibility, your experience, and your vernacular, your eloquence to the table when I have these conversations with these bank owners? And when they have questions I don't have the answer to, can you be my partner in these situations? And you and I can either work out a split, or you and I can work out a thing where I take these houses that I can handle and everything else is yours until I can start handling a little bit more, or however that is. Don't go in on this on your own. This is not a mentorship. This is a community of people that are like-minded that you can trust. I would find a couple of students that have been in the program for over a year that you can rely on to bring all the credibility and the bandwidth to the table.
Absolutely. Good deal. I appreciate you, man.
A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I'd be like, let's do it together. But with the TV show, I've become so unreliable in terms of getting deals done on, for me. People send me a phone call. They'll go, hey, can you get on a phone call with my seller? I go, great, love to. And then I do it on one of our sub 2 Zooms. And then two days later, like, hey, will you call the seller again? I go, dude, I am so far from being able to get on a phone call with anybody, let alone even reply to you on Instagram or whatever it is. You're going to have to wait until next Tuesday Zoom. That's kind of how it is now. So that's why it's great to have a community where the other students that have been in the program a long time just JV with you and you never have to wait for me. In fact, there's probably all the sub 2 students that are in the side chat today. We've got 610 viewers right now. We'll probably climb to 700, maybe 800 tonight. We hit a peak of viewership until like 30 minutes, 40 minutes into the podcast. So anybody that's a sub 2 student's been in the program for over a year, or you're a mastermind student, please reach out to Eric. Eric, go in the side chat with everybody. And like Jorge or George Manjares, amazing, highly intelligent mastermind student. He's a guy that I can see him right there. He says, Eric, let's do it. There's your guy. That's the guy you go with.
Perfect. I love that, man. I really do. Ideally, so my just to let everybody know, like my big play with this is this bank that is having the meeting with me is 5 or 6 branches big. Mm-hmm. I wanted to use this as like a proof of concept that I have connections that go to bigger banks and expand over 4 to 13 to 20 states. So this is a crazy good opportunity. But George, absolutely, let's do it, buddy. I love it.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. So guys, I have this kind of leans into a conversation that has been going on behind the scenes. You have banks, like, listen to what Eric just said. You currently have banks worried about what's going to happen. We see what's going on, guys. My wife is our real estate agent. We have properties on the street right now. I see what's going on right now. People keep saying demand is high, demand is high, demand is high, demand is high, demand is high. And it is, but people's affordability has basically plummeted because it's twice as much of a payment as it was 4 or 5 months ago. Okay. So on Friday, where I'm doing a free live, I asked my new friend, I've been friends with him for about 2 months, Dean Graziosi is going to come in, Tony Robbins' partner. Dean Graziosi is going to come in on Friday for 40 minutes. That's all he's got. He's going to be on vacation. Cody Sperber, myself, and Dean Graziosi. Dean Graziosi's first freaking deal that he ever did was $0 down and a hug to a lady named Mary. Literally gave this lady a hug. She sold him a building that was commercial on the main level and then 4 apartments up above. He bought the thing for $0 down, 0% interest, just gave the lady a hug and started making payments to her. That we're going to be talking with Dean on Friday about what he did in 2008, because he took a business that was doing $10 million a year to $40 million during the crash. He's been through multiple crashes. He's been in business for over 35 years. Okay. So Lisa says, Dean is reputable. I think anybody that's partners with Tony Robbins and has been for multiple years, I think that they're pretty credible. So I'm putting the link in the side chat. It's kind of a longer link. I would have normally done a Zoom because Zoom is free for me, but I'm doing an air meet and it will cost me money because Cody Sperber and myself are going to be both inviting people into this. So that's going to be happening on Friday. We're going to be talking about the upcoming crash, and I'm legitimately worried about it, especially when you have Tuesday. Eric, were you on that Zoom when we brought a seller into the
4 hours, baby? I was in there.
How crazy was that I brought a Zoom on our Zoom. We brought a seller in that's like, I need to know how to sell my house on subject to, because we listed at 650, then we bumped to 625, then we're at 6 this, and I think we're going to have to price reduce, and we're getting 0 activity. I will sell my house subject to right now. I just need to know how to structure it with a buyer.
He was on there for an hour trying to find an answer to save what he's got going on. And he's not even a student. He's just looking for answers. And there's thousands of people like that.
I'm telling you guys, there is an economic shift happening. Creative finance will dominate in this shift. We are getting sellers that are like, take my property, no down payment. Oh, 0% interest? Fine. Just take the property. Okay. That's happening Friday. We're going to talk about, I have not been through a market crash as a real estate investor. So for me, I can go back and look at the data, but I want to know somebody what it was like. I want to know what they did. I want to hear their game plan and what they're doing in this upcoming market crash. Dean is still in real estate. He just built 4 houses, sold them off. He's got a big development he's doing. So we're going to be talking real estate. And if you're in the real estate market, what should you do in this doomsday? Okay. So that's Friday, 4 p.m. Arizona time. It's very quick, 40 minutes. Okay. Alex says, what does the data look like? The data looks like this. Listings have tripled. Foreclosures are up 800%. Let me say that again. Foreclosures are up 800%. What does that mean to you? That means that banks are going to be reaching out to people like Eric Richards and saying, hey, we are anticipating a massive amount of foreclosures that we won't be able to handle. We need to form an alliance between us and a group of investors that can help us handle this. That's what the data is telling us.
These banks are hiring officers. They're creating positions to try to figure out how to do this. I pulled one of their the job descriptions for a brand new position they're opening up on LinkedIn, trying to figure out how they're going to cut their losses with the new shift that's coming. It's crazy,
isn't it?
It's crazy.
Super crazy. So, Eric, thanks for coming in and highlighting that. I appreciate that. I got to get through all the questions. Thanks for coming in, brother.
Appreciate you, Pace. Thank you.
All right, later. All right. Kyle Cooper, how you doing, bro?
Hey, whoa, great, man. Thank you so
Kyle,
much.
is that a mullet or is that a full, just a dope rocker haircut?
Listen,
okay, got it.
We just, we're from Hawaii, so I'm still rocking the Hawaii hair.
I love it. Looks great, bro.
Yeah, no, so we joined at the end of 21, and we immediately, we fix and flip. And I started jumping in and learning all the creative finance stuff. And it dawned on me, I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere with fix and flipping. This is my wife, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Like, we're not getting anywhere with, I'm going to turn the volume up here, with creative financing because we're trying to fix and flip. And I was like, so a bunch of students were like, man, just be a buyer. We're already locking up deals. Well, so here's the deal. We're in 2 flips right now that are going to be, the houses, the comps around them are in the 500s, range, that once we get done selling, we'll hopefully be able to sell them for that. But obviously we're facing the same economic turn. But our main question, we're going to ride this wave out. We're going to do our best to get the houses done and sell them as quickly as we can. But our main question is actually a little unrelated to that. Since we moved back from Hawaii, we're staying with friends in their ADU, and we've realized, because we don't have a typical W-2 job anymore, we're like, okay, we want to find a creative financing situation for our own house. And because I started jumping into the flipping of the houses, and I do a lot of the work myself, I didn't plan on it, but because of the way certain things have gone, I've had to. I have not studied all the creative finance subject to information to where I know how to just pick up the phone and start calling people. But my question to you, we were sitting here talking, we're like, what's the best way? What would you recommend to find a subject to property or a creative financing property in our area? We're in the Charlotte area now. For ourselves to live in, for our own house. We've heard your story of how you got your house, that sort of thing, which we love. We would love to find something like that to get out of our friend's house and to get into our own property. And if you were in our shoes, what would the first thing you do? Would you pull a list and start calling people?
So there's two ways to get a deal. Okay. Either buy a deal from somebody that knows how to find them and pay them a fee, or it's kind of like, those delivery, like grocery delivery companies. It's like, how do I go buy groceries, Pace? Well, either A, you go directly to the supermarket, or B, you go to Instacart and they bring the groceries to you. Which one do you want to do? Right? Well, I don't have a car. Okay, well then use Instacart. They'll bring the groceries to you. You're just going to pay a premium, right? So it's the same thing with buying a deal. You want a subject to or seller finance deal? You got so many students of sub 2 in Charlotte. I'm flying to Charlotte in 45 days. We just bought a 408 unit, $109 million purchase, multifamily deal. And we'll end up having over 300 students at a meetup in August 10th in Charlotte. students like Chad Glover, Ted Miller, and so many more that are doing deals in North Carolina, all over North Carolina. You can go to the Instacart of deals and go, hey guys, we're in Charlotte. We are a buyer for you. When you find a subject to or seller finance deal, please bring it to us. We'll pay you a fee. Now, some people, Kyle, are going to go, well, damn it, Pace. I don't have the money to pay a fee. You guys talk about zero down and just taking over people's mortgages. Well, guess what, Kyle? You're going to have to go find those deals yourself. Okay. So how do you find those deals yourself? The number one place to find a subject to deal, always, 100% of the time, is going and helping people who are in foreclosure. Foreclosures are up 800%. So I'm not giving you an answer that you want to hear. You either got to find somebody that's finding the deals, right? Sub 2 students that have been in the program for a bit.
Right.
Or B, learn what the students are doing to go find said deals and just go directly to the source. Foreclosures, expired listings. You can get really niche on lists. Okay. An expired listing, what does that tell you? It tells you that the agent wasn't able to sell the house. The homeowner's probably worn out and pissed off and all sorts of things. And so you reach out to the homeowner and you say, hey, was there something you were looking for that you weren't able to get on the market? I just saw that your listing expired. Okay. On the ML, I imagine, Kyle, you nor your wife are licensed real estate agents?
No.
Okay. So I would ask sub 2 students, hey, does anybody want to help us that's a licensed agent in Charlotte? We have a lot. Can you guys help pull a list of expired listings off the MLS? Because the only place you're going to get a really accurate expired listing list is from the MLS. It's going to be hundreds, in fact, thousands. Okay. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to call those homeowners and say, hey, looking for a house for myself, saw that you did this, this, and this. Would you be open to terms? And then, Kyle, what you got to do that I won't be able to answer you on a podcast like this with 10 people in the back studio waiting for their question to be answered, is you got to go and watch my seller calls on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you got to see how I talk to people. You got to see how I lock up deals.
Okay.
So it's either, do you want to pay somebody to go find the deal for you, like Instacart, bring the groceries to you, pay a premium for it? Or B, do you want to learn the skill of going out and finding these deals and talking to sellers directly and helping them out? I prefer, just for me, I have full control of when I generate a lead, I talk to the seller directly. I've got a deal right now. Seller, I legit texting her right now, Molly, my operations manager, and she's like, the person who brought this deal to us is an absolute jelly brain. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. So what I'm now having to do, so here's the seller, right? Well, let me pull this up to give you a little bit of. So I've got a seller here, owns a house. Wholesaler watching my YouTube stuff goes, oh, I know what to say. Screw this whole thing up. They go get a preliminary contract, which means the seller has not signed this contract yet, because the seller's like, do you even know what the hell you're doing? We've gone back and forth 25 freaking times. Do you even know what you're doing? But the seller moved out of the country like 4 months ago. So they're like, green light, let's go. Let's sell this thing. I have a payment on a house I don't live in anymore. Like, of course I'll let you take over my payments, right?
Yeah. So
I've got this wholesaler comes to me, hey, Pace, this contract that I have not quite worked out yet, would you buy this from me at a $10,000 premium? Meaning give him $10,000 and I just take over the rights to the contract.
Right.
And I go, well, I don't know. Let me look at the contract. I'm like, I don't have a freaking clue what this thing says. Can I just talk to the seller directly and work out my own terms and I'll still pay you a fee? And so even then, even sometimes you go through wholesalers, these guys who are not trained in creative finance, they're going to screw up a contract like this that I got to go back and rework anyway. So for me, I prefer, not saying that I don't do this all the time, okay? If I have to start a business and I really want to go after these deals, which doesn't sound like you would necessarily want to start a business, you just want a house for yourself, I would just go directly to the source and I would find people that are in foreclosure. Easiest person to get a deal from, always foreclosure. Okay. Why? They have a ticking time bomb in their pocket.
Yeah.
They're the only seller on the planet that actually has a timeline associated with selling their property.
Yeah.
And in most states, it's public information. You can see, oh my gosh, these guys are in foreclosure. They have 32 days until they lose their house. All day long, let me just take over the payments.
Oh my God.
There you go. There's a subject too.
Totally.
Okay.
That's brilliant.
If I look at, we have over 300 single family homes in our portfolio. Okay. Over 40% of them came from foreclosures. Subject to.
Wow.
Yeah. Foreclosures massive. If you guys are, see this little world, I've got 730 people on this live. This is not bigger pockets. Okay. This is not going to the MLS. This is not going to my broker and an agent. That is not what this world is. This is the off market world, meaning we're going to sellers that are not anticipating selling their house. In fact, a lot of them are trying to keep their house when they're getting foreclosed on. We come to them with an offer that is hard for them to pass up. We help them move on to the next chapter of their life. We're not waiting for these houses to hit the market. We're working directly with the seller that does not have a real estate agent involved whatsoever. In fact, I'll say this over and over until the day I die. I dislike working with real estate agents. They get in the way. They are not helpful. Most of them don't know what they're doing. They don't learn how to comp when they're in school. All they learn is how to put a stick in a yard and says, this house is for sale. So for me, why do I want to go work with real estate agents? I go directly to the seller. I know their pain point. You guys are in Charlotte right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you how easy this is. Like, it is so, has this already been helpful for you?
Yeah. It's super helpful.
Okay. So check this out. I'm going to go to a website. I do get paid from them. So they sponsor the show. They pay us monthly. They sponsor our show. We use them a lot. We've been using them for years. The name of the company is batchleads.io. And if you use, I think it's code PACE. So batchleads.io /PACE. Okay. It gives you like 500 something or other. That doesn't matter. The tool's dope. Who gives a crap what you get for free? So let's pull it up real quick. And I'll show you Charlotte, a couple of cool things. So let's go into my account. Oh my gosh, please accept the terms of service. Every time I log in, you got to do that to me? Okay, great. All right, so let's go to list search. Let's go to Charlotte. Now look down towards the bottom here on quick filter. Expired listings right here. 3,859 people were not able to sell their house through a real estate agent. Do you think those are people that you probably want to talk to? Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Foreclose. There you go. Right now, there are 164 people about to lose their house in this area. Okay.
Just for fun, can you type in Fort Mill? Because we're like on the south side of Charlotte.
Just curious. This is so helpful.
Fort Mill, South Carolina. Yeah.
$297 expired listings. 12,000 people have houses free and clear. What does that mean?
Seller financing.
There you go. Seller financing. Okay. So like the houses that we're typically getting 0% seller finance or 0% interest is because they seller finance it to us, right?
Yeah.
Company owned, absentee owners. That's a really good list as well. Like they basically give you the top 10 lists like right out of the gate, right? Like these lists that are on Batch Leads, they're all right here. People also go, how do I find cash buyers? Same place. Like, look, they have 10,688 cash buyers just in the Fort Mill area. That's pretty powerful when you say. So foreclosures, there's 38. Now, here's what's great about foreclosures. Foreclosures are a constant replenished list. Okay. The list is always replenished. In Phoenix, Arizona, right now, we probably have a good 600 people that are in foreclosure from start to finish, like 30 days late, all the way to the people that are getting foreclosed on. Every day, there's 20 people getting foreclosed on and 20 new people coming into the foreclosure process. It's a constant conveyor belt of deals.
Yeah.
There are people in Phoenix, Arizona that the only thing they work on are foreclosures. They won't call expired listings. They won't work with agents. They're just literally calling foreclosures because they know these people have a timeline. And so they're a lot more realistic. Okay. There's 2 times people are going to be realistic with their house immediately. In a buyer's market, when the market is crashing, we're already getting sellers that are like, take my property. Hey, are you still in 3 months ago? We've got sellers calling us from 3-4 months ago. Hey, are you still in the market for buying a house in my neighborhood? Blah, 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 blah. We're starting to see that now. Okay. So in a down market, sellers are a little bit more realistic. The other time sellers are realistic is when they have massive amount of pain. Somebody that's in foreclosure typically has a lot of pain. Kyle, have you and your wife ever listened to my seller calls with me talking to people who are in foreclosure?
I don't think that specifically, no.
Okay, Kyle, do you remember the first time you ever kissed your wife?
I do.
Okay. The first time you kissed your wife is less powerful than the first time when you talk to a foreclosure seller. I'm telling you. Okay. There's a paradigm shift that you go, oh my gosh, there are thousands, if not millions of people out there that are struggling and need my help. There's a change where you think, if you're a fix and flipper, are you getting your deals from real estate agents?
One was real estate, one was an investor.
Okay, so like a wholesaler brought the deal to you?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, cool.
He was an investor himself, started fixing the house up, and then he was like, he ran out of money. Down, that sort of thing.
Got it. Okay, cool. So where do we find deals in this off-market world? Is we find the people through public data who we know have pain. I'm not guessing. I'm not driving down the road and just guessing, hey, that looks like a nice house I want to flip.
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right. I'm sitting at my ass in my chair. Who knows if I even have pants on right now? And I'm pulling up 138 people that we know in your town right now are waiting for somebody to call them and solve their problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest paradigm shift that you will have is that you guys are responsible adults. And you think that everybody else that you're talking to is also a responsible adult. They are not. They're the majority of the people that are going through foreclosure. I'm sorry. I know a lot of personal friends and family members that have gone through foreclosure, but the overwhelming majority of people that are going through these painful situations make really, really bad decisions. It is your job to help them out of those bad decisions. Okay. I'll give you a good example. And there's 1,000 of these stories that are so uniquely distinct from each other that if I told you all 1,000 of them, by the time I got to the 20th one, you'd go, okay, I totally get this. I totally understand. If you go watch my seller calls, you'll hear these people just going, I'm ready to give up. I'm ready to take my own life. I'm ready to do this, that, and the other, whatever. We've got a seller right now. Okay. That, he says he's drunk. As a truck driver, he's driving drunk in his personal vehicle, loses his license. What happens? He loses his job. So now he does no job. And the only thing he's ever trained for is truck driving. Meanwhile, he's got some equity in his property. So he's like, you know what? No worries. I'll try and sell the house. If I worst case scenario, just sell the house, take the money, fix the problem with my driver's license and go back and get a job. Well, that doesn't work out great for him. So he's just like, I'm done. I give up. I'm done. I'm just going to let the house go to foreclosure. Second, it goes up on foreclosure. Like the data shows that he's late on his payment. This is all public data. We call him up and we don't call him. We shot him a text. Hey, we see that you're in foreclosure. Anything that we can do to help you? Well, we're going to probably make $100,000 on that deal. It's actually a subject to deal. Okay. Foreclosure. There are 800% more foreclosures than there were in January. 800% more. It's going to get way worse. You're going to have people begging you to take their house. And the problem is, if you think you're going to get deals from real estate agents and houses on the market, you will start seeing that more. But the last 4 years, there's no deals. There's no consistent deals on the market because by the time a house hits the MLS, it's like, what's wrong with it? If that thing hasn't sold, there's something wrong with the house or there's something wrong with the seller, right?
Right.
Okay, now here's another way. Have I given you a sufficient answer here?
It is,
So
yeah.
good.
And so when you pull
So
those, when you get that information from batch, You actually have to pay for that list though, right? That's
Yep,
another.
you're paying. That's what Batch does is they go find
Yeah.
the public data, they aggregate it, and they sell it to you for a fee.
Okay.
Gotcha. Mhm.
Okay. So you download that list. You can either single dial it. You can go hire a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
We own a company. We have about 1,000 clients. The name of the company is startvirtual.com,
Yep.
like startvirtual.com. They cold call and they put typically 1 to 3 sellers on the phone with you every single day. So they do the cold calling and you just go, hey, tell the sellers I'm available to talk to them from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day. And on your calendar, a virtual assistant will put an appointment on your calendar every day for somebody that's in foreclosure.
Okay.
Right. You get on the phone with them and you go, hey, Mrs. Seller, how's it going? Catch me up to speed. What's happening with the property? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you looking to sell it, or is there something else I can do to help you stay in the property? And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But you start taking action. So when people say take action, that's it. Pick up the damn phone.
Yeah.
In fact, the less you know, the better.
Okay.
Legit.
Well, then we're going to be amazing.
We're awesome then.
Yeah. And this is why my students are so successful, is because they are a community of people that when you start, you have all this trepidation, you have all this hesitation. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that's why you team up with people that have been in my program for a year or 2 years or 2.5 years that are doing this all over. You'll see them in the side chat. People have been in my program for a year, 2 years. So you got to tap into somebody else that's going to help you in that market.
Okay.
Okay. Another place, and I got to go quick. I know you got more questions, but I can't answer all your
You're
questions. Fine. Last place I'll tell you is if you go to a real estate agent and you ask them, can you pull all the seller finance deals on the market right now? Here, I'll show you something dope. I don't know what kind of cash you guys have, but you guys want to see a dope ass house? I'm trying to get for Cody.
Sure. Our cash is all tied up in 2 properties right now.
Yeah, we're tied up.
But that's fine. But here's what is available on the market all the time. People just don't know it because you're not looking for these things. But this is the MLS. Cody sent me this listing. $2.5 million home. Let's look at this. Pretty dope little spot. You can buy this on seller finance. No credit check. Let me say that one more time. No credit check, no job history, no tax returns, none of that stuff. Just a down payment and 4% interest. Right now, there's about, I don't know how many there are. Ingrid could probably tell me, but I would say there's a couple hundred of those on the market right now in Phoenix, right now, that I could just go on the MLS, type in seller carryback, seller finance, creative finance, and you'll find 200 of those on the MLS. Now, the problem with those deals is that agents who represent those sellers typically don't know a lot about creative finance. The sellers know more because typically sellers that are wealthy understand creative finance because they've used creative finance to buy businesses, sell businesses, acquire parts of other businesses, wedge themselves into other businesses. Wealthy people understand creative finance. So they'll get their agent and go, yeah, but throw this on the market for on seller finance. Okay. That is very common, very common. So I would have an agent in Charlotte and then have an agent in Charlotte pull a list for you, or in whatever that city is called that you just said. Have them pull a list that says seller carryback, whatever. You're going to see some of these sellers will say, well, I want 20% down. Well, guess what, Kyle? You don't have 20% down because your shit's tied up in another property, which is what happens when you're an investor, right? So what you do is you ask the agent, hey, how can we structure this where everybody wins, where I can buy the property, no money out of pocket up front, and then chisel away at the down payment every quarter, right? So I'll make a monthly payment to the seller, but also a little chunk that pays towards the down payment, okay? One of the best deals I ever did, the seller says to us, I want a $10,000 down payment. I've got one right now. I've got a seller who goes, I want $430,000 down payment. It's a big multifamily apartment complex. I go, not a problem. Seller finance the multifamily deal to me. It's over 50 units. Seller finance the 50 units to me for 50 years. Okay, give me a 50-year mortgage at 4%. And the $400,000 you want as a down payment, Let me pay you that over 2 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can seller finance down payments as well. You don't just seller finance the property. You can seller finance the down payments also.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you can go to an agent and go to a seller and say, hey, our cash is tied up. But when our flips are done, we got a little bit of money, we can chisel away at part of the down payment. So let us get into the property right now so we don't have to live in an ADU and feel awkward every time we bump into our friends who own the house. I've been there too, guys. And you know, in next quarter, we'll pay you $5,000 towards the down payment. Let's say the seller wants a $25,000 down payment. Say, great, no problem. I can pay you $5,000 a quarter over 5 quarters. So that would take 1 year and a quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can play around with this so much, but it requires words to come out of your mouth to somebody who actually controls a contract.
Yeah.
So good.
Super helpful.
Makes
Very,
sense?
very helpful.
Do these foreclosures or pre-foreclosures, I assume they get inundated, they get like bombarded with investors the moment they get hit. How, you know,
there's two reasons why you'll win in this battle. Okay.
Tell me.
Number one, consistency. I know it sounds stupid, but you want to hear a story about one I just closed on a couple months ago?
Let's hear it.
If you want to take the time.
We love it.
This is the problem with me is I always tell people like, hey, I'll be really quick with questions, but I want
sorry,
people
everyone. He's still talking to
Sorry,
us.
don't be mad at us, but we want him to keep talking.
If they're my students, they love it. They know what's up. They've all gotten the attention as well. But they also understand that I know that this is helpful for everybody. So let me pull up a property on Branch Forest. I just closed on this not too long ago. I actually closed on it on sub 2 day, which is 2/22/22.
Ooh.
And I bought it subject to, which is pretty cool.
Hey.
Let's see, not Branch Forest, Branch. Okay, 405 Branch Forest in Stockbridge, Georgia, which is just right outside of Atlanta. So let me pull this up. So this property, I also paid over retail for this, just so you know. You guys will see that my investing strategy, even if half my equity goes away, you will see my investing strategy through this downturn will still dominate. So let's take a look at this. A lot of people go, oh my gosh, my equity. Oh my gosh, my equity. I'm like, I didn't buy the property for my equity. I bought the property for a long cash flow appreciation, which is guaranteed over a long period of time, and also tax benefits. So here we go. Here's a property I bought. Let me pull up the Zillow and see what Zillow says it's worth today. I think I overpaid for it when I bought it. Okay, here we go. This estimate's gone up to a point where now it's worth more than what I paid for it. But originally I bought it for $469,900, which is what she still owed on the mortgage. Okay, gorgeous house, right?
Yeah.
So I bought this. I gave her $10,000. Okay, so that's more than what you probably want to pay right now. But I turned this into it. This is an Airbnb. It's performing. It's got a mother-in-law suite down the back. So it's actually 2 different Airbnb units. I overpaid for the property. Or did I? I did not. I paid $10,000. Terms are way more important than price, right? The value of something is not the purchase price. The value of something is what you can do with it, right? So for you guys, how low can I get into a property is part of your value. The other value is, can I go move out of an ADU and move into my own house? That's pretty priceless. You really don't care if like Zillow says it's worth 500 and you pay 525. You're like, who gives a crap? Like over time, as real estate works out, we always win in real estate, right? So that specific house came from a student of mine. Okay. I buy probably, I don't know, 20, 30% of my deals right now have been and always will come from my students, right? We have successful students all over the country. They know what I'm looking for. They go, hey, I've got a deal. So I have a student that brings the deal to me. The lady's, her name is Trevious, Trevious, and the seller call with Trevious is on YouTube, where I convince her to sell the house to me subject to. My student comes to me and goes, hey, I've got this thing. Do you want to buy it? I go, yeah, I want to buy that. Let me know what happens. 2 months later, nothing. All right. I move on. I have so many things going on. I'm not even paying attention to like It came to me. If I look at my DMs right now, you'd see dozens of deals that I haven't looked at today, but I'll look at them tomorrow, and either they'll happen or they won't. And then the next day I'll have 15 to 50 opportunities to come into my DMs again. So I'm just looking for kind of the low hanging fruit, right? People that are ready. They've moved the seller to a certain point where I can just come in and lock up the contract, buy the deal, right? So I just let the thing move on. 2 months later, I have a gentleman named Jamari, who's not a student of mine, but has followed me for 3 years. He's a door knocker. He did the 2 things that you will dominate foreclosures with. 2 things, okay? Number 1, door knocking. And I'm not going to advise you to go door knocking because you won't do it. I already know, looking at you 2, you will not do it. No offense to you guys, but I've been doing this long enough that you will not do it. You'll do it for a day because it's fun, but you won't do it you won't be consistent.
I
okay?
won't be consistent. I've done it a number of times, but not consistent.
See, how did I know?
Yeah.
I'm the same way, bro. Don't think I'm criticizing you.
Like,
I know how to. I'm a salesperson. I can see what's what. Okay.
Right.
So you can do the other thing that my student failed at. Okay. Jamari, when I talked to Trevius, I said, Trevius, why, how's it going with the other investors? Right. She's 10 days away from foreclosure. And she goes, nobody's calling and talking to me except for Jamari. And I was like, okay. And she goes, in fact, I had this guy named, I'll just call him Kyle. I had this guy named Kyle that he said he was going to help me. He said all this stuff. He was super nice to me, but that was 3 months ago. He didn't follow up with me. I haven't heard from him. Literally, I told him, hey, check back in with me in 30 days. Didn't check in with me. I had some other people call me here and there. I said that I was still, indecisive, and they never called me back. Jamari knocked her door 13 times and got the deal. Now, she didn't answer 11 of those times. But he would send her a text and go, hey, I just stopped by the house. Just want to check in on you. Hey, stop by the house. Want to check in on you. How are things going? And she goes, kudos to him because he was not offended when I didn't reply to over half of his text messages. If you understand the psychology of somebody in foreclosure, they're hiding. They're like an ostrich with their head in the sand. Okay.
Right.
So what happens is Jamari goes, I know this guy, you're in foreclosure. So what does foreclosure mean, Kyle? It means a couple of things. It means they're behind on payments. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they got payments kind of stacking up. And also it means that they typically don't have a lot of equity. Because if they had a lot of equity, don't you think they would have sold the property on the MLS? Just got rid of it?
Right.
Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're so in denial that by the time they decide I'm going to sell the house on the market, they've lost the opportunity to, because selling a house on the market can take 2 to 4 months. Okay.
Right.
As you know, as a flipper, it takes a bit. Right. So I get on the phone with Trevius and I go, hey, Trevius, my name's Pace. What did Jamari tell you? Because him and I are not partners. I'm sure he told you that him and I are partners. She goes, actually, he was really honest. He said, you're a guy that understands creative finance and that creative finance is the only thing that's going to solve this problem. And I can just tell you, I really appreciated doing business with Jamari, whether this works out or not, because he's just been honest and he's been consistently following up with me. And so I asked her after we closed the deal, she gave us a testimonial and all that kind of stuff. But I said, count how many times he texted you. It was 13 times. And she said every single time was a photo of him standing in front of the house saying, hey, I stopped by to say hi, type of thing. And I said, so why did you decide to go with Jamari? And I did this because I wanted to teach people, like, what is the thing that sellers really appreciate. And she says, I'm going through a tough time. He was the only person I could actually rely on to check in on me for literally close to 4 months. And so, of course, when I made the decision to sell my house, guess what? He showed up the very next day without me having to tell him, hey, come over here. He just showed up because that was his duty. That was his job. He understands the business. So Jamari he says that you understand creative finance. And so it sounds like I got to get creative in order to sell this house and not lose it to foreclosure. So you'll hear the seller call with Trevius on my phone, on my YouTube channel. And she says, I just need 10 grand. I'll let you take my house, my $700,000 house for $10,000. I just need to pay I can't have a foreclosure on my record because it will destroy my ability to get financing for my daughter's education. And if I could have $10,000 to get my stuff packaged up and moved into another spot and reset my life. And I go, Trevius, why don't you just sell this on the market? Why would you sell the property through me? And she says, I'm an agent, Pace. You think I couldn't have sold this house myself? She's like, I was in denial. I have no time now. I need you. I need you to save me from foreclosure. So we saved her from foreclosure. That house is now an Airbnb. I've never been there. I didn't get a credit check. I didn't have to pull the list. I didn't have to cold call the seller. I'm just the gangster that knows how to solve everybody's problems. So I'm at a level where people just bring things to me and I can solve things that other people can't solve. So Jamari got paid 10 grand. Okay. Because he brought the deal to me. And originally this is what Jamari said. He goes, dude, I don't care if I even get paid because this is a deal that I wouldn't be able to do because I'm a cash buyer. I don't understand creative finance. So I gave him 10 grand and I sent him an iPhone because I was like, please don't ever text me with a freaking Android green bubble ever again in your life.
Yes.
I legit sent him like an iPhone Max 13 Pro, whatever it was.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So how did he get that deal? Door knocking is a great way to cut through the crap with foreclosures because a lot of times foreclosures, they are hiding from bill collectors, banks. They're hiding from relatives that might owe them money or I'm sorry, they owe money to the relatives. Maybe their baby mama drama's going on. Whatever's going on, foreclosures are chaotic. And so a lot of times you'll see sellers that like don't even charge their phone. We'll go knock doors and you'll walk into their house. They got stacks of bills. They've got stacks of postcards from everybody saying, we buy houses, we buy houses,
Right.
we buy houses. And the only person that can get through all of that noise is the person that knocks on the door and says, hey, I'm here to help. So Alessandro says, how much was the debt? Which means he's curious. He's like, how much money did you have to put into the property to catch up the arrears? Guess what I did? I'm also a gangster on this as well. I did a loan modification, meaning all of the late payments she had, I wrapped them all up and we renegotiated with the lender and the lender put them on the back of the loan. So I didn't have to catch up any arrears.
You did that with her loan.
We do this with a lot of people's loans.
Okay. I love it.
Okay. We are truly, this strategy that we are talking about right now, creative finance, will dominate over the next 36 to 60 months. Not even remotely close to anything else.
Yeah.
We've done well. I mean, we've acquired 900 doors in the last, couple of years, not couple of years, basically the last 36, 40 months, somewhere around there. We've acquired 900 doors, done thousands of deals. Some of them we don't own anymore, right? We've sold them, we've wholesaled them, we've refinanced them, whatever. The majority of what I own has been creative finance in an up market, in a market that's going up. Imagine now with the market going down, I will absolutely clean up. And the reason being is you're going to have people literally just going, Kyle, take my house. Just take my house. And if you don't know this strategy, I can tell you a real estate agent is not going to know this strategy. So if you're going to agents trying to find deals, you ain't going to get deals.
Yeah.
You're going to get cash deals that are not really cash deals. What you need to learn is how to talk to sellers and how to truly solve their problem.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay.
Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You need to find people in my community that can help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Don Miller, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Yeah. How you doing?
Awesome.
Good. What do you got for me today?
I'm here in Boise. I've got 2 leads that I'd run by you.
Okay.
One is a wholesaler that has a property tied up. He wants $350 for it. It's next to a college.
Boise?
Pardon?
In Boise?
It's in Caldwell, next to the college, so it's close to Boise.
Okay, cool.
It's a 3-2, but the basement has the ability to turn it into a 5-3.
Okay, got it. Hey,
And-
while we're going through that, guys, we've got 800 people on the live, so I want to make sure I take the time. We all can agree that the market's going through a shift, and so I've got Cody Sperber, myself, and Dean Graziosi. We asked Dean Graziosi to come into a live on Friday, just because the economy's changing. He went through real estate in the downturn of the economy. Fun little 40-minute thing, and I want to make sure that a lot of people show up for Dean. It's AirMeet link that I'm putting in the side chat. It says upcoming live with Dean Graziosi, doomsday plan for a down economy. Copy and paste that AirMeet link and register for it. I think we're only allowing 2,000 people. I think we already have 1,500 people in there. So make sure you guys register for that. It's this coming Friday, 4 p.m. So Don, you've got a single family home from a wholesaler, $350,000. The basement can be converted into something that adds more value. So what's the question on it?
So they want cash. They want a cash buyer because they're off in Seattle because they have cancer issues. But the other thing too, there's an additional lot attached to it. The wholesaler is a knucklehead. He doesn't realize that there's actually access to it. There's actually the ability to do an ADU on the back as well. So I'm just wondering how you would go about this deal, or if you have any interest in JVing on it.
JVing as in what? You want me to sponsor the loan? Do you want me to run the construction? What do you want me to do? Because I'm honestly, I'll be honest, I'm fearful of fix and flips over the next 30, 45 days, especially with the Fed. I think the Fed is going to raise rates another point here in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what does that do for us as a fix and flipper? That damages our ability to find an end buyer. The
fixes are cosmetic. And so it would actually be really great because it's a block away from a college.
Okay.
So it'd actually be great for
proximity and all that stuff doesn't, and like the level of repairs that we have doesn't really, like, I don't even care about that. What I care about is what is this house going to be able to bring for a buyer when the interest rates go from 6% to 7% in the next 30 days while we're holding the property.
So really on this one, you'd only be looking at it if it was created. Is that correct?
I don't know. I need you to make an argument to me.
Well, he wants 350. They want 350 cash. They don't want to do creative. I already ran that by him.
Okay.
And the only thing that I'm thinking about is that something to where you could do a fix and flip, not maybe make a whole lot on that, but that lot in the back with the access, he doesn't realize it has access.
So you're saying, hey, let's build another property. Okay, got it. So hold on a second, guys. There's people saying the link doesn't work. It's probably because you have an Android you're trying to like get on here with. Guys, the link works perfectly fine. Here, watch. I'll take the link, same link that's in the side chat. I'm copying it and I'm throwing in the side chat. It 1000% works. There's 1,500 people that have already got it on there. They have no problem. There's no issue with the link. Ingrid says, open the link in Chrome. YouTube doesn't let us copy it. I see. Okay, that sucks. I don't know what else to tell you. So Kiara says, why not rent to students? I don't love the BRRRR strategy. So essentially what Kiara is suggesting is, Kiara, forget about who's going to rent the property from us. Let's talk about how we're going to acquire it and how we're going to finance it when the interest rates on BRRRR. Guys, if you're trying to BRRRR right now, good luck. I read a report today that interest rates are going to hit 10% by the end of or beginning of next summer. Inflation is not slowing down. The Fed is freaking out. What they're going to keep doing is tacking on this massive amount of interest rate to slow everything down. So you know what that does? If you're a loan officer right now, you better go get another job, like right now. Bag groceries at the grocery store. Do anything but be a loan officer right now, as interest rates are going to hit. They're going to hit 8% before the end of the summer, and maybe by the end of the year, you're at 8.5%. By the beginning of next summer, you're at 10%. So what does that mean, Kiara? If we buy this property for $350, okay, now Don's saying that it's cosmetic, but also, Don, what you told me is that we have to convert the basement into multiple bedrooms and make it so that it has more beds and baths than what it currently is listed. So that's not cosmetic. We have to actually pull a permit for that, correct?
Either
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what does that do? That means let's say we have a 2-week escrow. Okay. I go get hard money on this thing at 9%. My hard money lender gives us 90% of the purchase. I bring 10% cash myself. They give us 90% of the construction money. I bring 10% of the cash myself. Cool. We could probably get through the renovation in less than 30, 45 days. Interest rate goes up again by that point. We then put it on the market. What do you think the ARV is of just that property? Forget about the ADU.
435.
Not a deal.
Got it.
Because here's why. If I bought that for 350 with my purchase costs, okay, with my purchase costs, I have to. A lot of people forget this. That when I buy a property, even cash, I have to pay closing costs when I buy it. So is my price really 350? No, it's probably 357 or 356. Now I've got a hard money payment every single month at $357,000. My hard money payment is going to be about $3,000 every month. So $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, $3,000. In 4 months, you're at $12,000 in just hard money payments. Now I'm at 370. My renovation is not going to be cosmetic. It's going to have adding bedrooms, baths, my permit costs, not an architect, but a draftsman. I'm going to have a hell of a time getting through city of Boise's permitting process, especially since everybody's building houses out there. This is a 6-month project, probably because of permits. So now I'm not 4 months, I'm 6 months. Then I go list it on the market. The market, by the time I sell the property at 435, the interest rate is not 6% right now, like it is right now. It's 7% or 7.25%. So is the ARV truly 425 once I exit that deal? No. The purchase price is based on what the buyer is willing and able to pay for. Now, Don has a great point. This is where his argument comes in. Don says, well, what if we keep the property and we then add an ADU? Well, let's talk about ADUs in Boise. Have we spoken to the city of Boise permit and zoning and permit and planning department and found out how long it takes for you to draft and get an ADU approved and then go through the process of building? Permits are public record. So you can go find people that have pulled permits on ADUs and found out when they actually did their final inspection. An ADU is typically a 6-month process minimum, upwards to a year. So now I've got a property that I build an ADU on, and now I want to refinance it all out and get my money back. Maybe that's a deal if I don't have anywhere else to put my money.
Yeah. The only other thing is that it has a separate lot that the wholesaler doesn't realize that there's access. So there is that option to where you can sell it and they get a lot free and clear.
Okay, but again, how does that lot free and clear pay our bills? Would you wholesale or would you subdivide? What would you do with that?
So you'd probably ended up wholesaling the lot out to a builder or something.
Okay. Do you think builders are super hyped to buy lots right now?
Not really, probably not. But I mean,
I think,
price, maybe.
I think everybody's in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
So this is where like creative finance for me, why do I like it? Is because it doesn't zap my cash. And if something goes horribly, I'm not tied into a hard money loan. I already have, like, a novation agreement would be great.
Yeah.
So if they want cash, what I would tell them, Don, is I'd say, hey, I'd be open to a novation agreement where I don't pay you today. I pay you once I find my buyer on the back end.
That was actually what I was thinking about, and except that they wanted cash, but obviously it's sitting on the market. I mean, it's not on the MLS, but that was what my thought process was. If he did a novation agreement, that actually might work.
How do you figure out the average cost of ADU detached garage conversion? Guys, the average cost to build anything worth anything is going to be minimum $100 a foot right now. Minimum. That's like shoddy, cheap. Everything's just painted white, laminate flooring, cheap big box store cabinets with Formica and like used appliances. You probably are going to be about $150 to $175 a foot to build anything nowadays. Okay. Susan, she says that she's on Android. It worked perfectly. My Android jokes are literally just jokes. I'm joking about the Android thing. Is it safe to take 20% off current ARV when running comps? Abso-freaking-lutely not. No. Abso-freaking-lutely not. No, 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 no. 20%. It costs 10% to sell the house on the back end. And your think about this. If you guys are a fix and flipper, I don't want to do a project unless I know minimum that I'm netting 10% of my sales price. So think about this, Don. If the sales price is $425,000, I want to net $42,500 on that project for doing the fix and flip. I mean, you're down to $380 by that point, and your purchase price is $350. It's not a deal on a fix and flip. It would be a deal on a buy and hold if you could do. If the Burr strategy was working right now with interest rates, this would be a deal I'd go, hey, let's just do the ADU in the back. I've got the lender that'll give the loan. But more and more and more of our lenders are saying, no, 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 no. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I had somebody, one of my top students, been in the program for over 2 years, reaches out to me today. He goes, we're in contract on a big parcel with properties on it. We were like 2 hours away from closing and our lender backed out. This is, guys, you're going to start seeing this happen all the time. Tony Giaro says he's doing 15% minimum because he's a freaking intelligent human being. Because right now we just lost, I've probably lost money on 3 flips in my entire life. I just got a P&L back on one of our flips, lost $15,000. Damien says, my lender's backing out too.
I did have one other.
Go ahead, Don. What do you got?
I just met another guy. They bought a house a year ago and they're getting a divorce. They put $80,000 down, and so they bought it for $380,000. They put $80,000 down, and now they're trying to sell it for $425,000. I just ran by the creative financing by him or the sub 2, and he is open, or he piqued his interest because he's going to lose money on the house if he sells it right now.
Okay, so what's his what city is this in?
Caldwell, close to Boise.
Okay, Caldwell. That's east of Boise or west of Boise, right?
Yep. Close to Nampa.
Got it. So what's the story?
So they're getting a divorce, and so he's got to get rid of the house. He just wants to get out of the house. And he wants to buy a 5th wheel. And he's thinking he's going to make money, but when he's actually doing the math, he's going to lose money by selling the house. And so he listed it through this, I forget what site it is. It's like a $3,500 flat fee, and then he only has to pay the seller's commission. But how would you approach that in talking about sub 2 with this individual and educating him on that?
I would just say, what do you try? This is, Don, you've seen me call students, you've seen me, or student sellers, you've seen me call stuff on YouTube, you've seen me do this stuff. Whenever somebody asks me what you're asking me, it's impossible for me to give you the answer. It's why I usually just call the seller for you guys, because whatever I tell you is going to change the second you get on the phone with them. I'm going to give you a script. That's why I don't really believe in scripts. I believe in a framework. So the framework that I would give yourself is, so remind me, what are you guys trying to accomplish? Because what I'm trying to understand, I would continually. Have you ever read, Don? Seems like you got to read this book. Read the book. You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike in a Seminar. Have you ever read that book?
Heard of it.
You need to read it.
Okay.
Anytime you have a question about how do I approach this, how do I say this, how do I do this, read that book 5 times.
Okay.
Like literally, don't read another book until you've read that book at least twice. Listen to it while you're working out. Listen to it while you're driving to the grocery store. Listen to it while you're in the shower. You can get an audible of it. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike in a seminar. Todd Killian, who's a genius human being, doing deals out there in Texas. Super smart guy. He says he reads it monthly. Phenomenal book. Okay. But what I would do is I could, if I could talk to him right now, well, I'm sure we could move the conversation forward. And I go, what are you guys trying to accomplish? What's going on with the wife? I mean, I just did this with a seller yesterday or 2 days ago on a Zoom for 4 hours. Seller's like, how do I do this? I'm going through a divorce. My wife is a lunatic. How do I get out of the situation? Sub 2. Okay, great. How do I do that? Heather Torres, are you kidding me? Do you guys know who Heather Torres is? Oh my word. Superhero. Think Media. Does anybody follow Think Media? Sean Cannell and Heather? Oh my gosh, I love Heather. She's amazing. I was just watching her Instagram today. She just bought, she says, here, learning from you, Pace. I saw you were in Utah the same time I was in Utah. My gosh, Heather, you're the best. Okay, so Don, I would love to call the seller and maybe just move the conversation forward.
Okay.
It's what is it, 9:30 in Idaho right now, so it's a little late.
Yeah, he seemed very open. In fact, he said, well, we could always give him a shot. I told him I was going to talk to you tonight, so you can always give
is he in the same? Is he just a single dude right now because he's separated from his wife?
Yeah, single dude.
Let's call him. Can you DM me his phone number? I'll call him right now.
Yeah, I will do that. It'll be awesome.
I mean, anytime I call a seller, I do a great job, because you're either going to find out it's a deal, or you're going to find out why it's not, right?
Yep. There you go. Just send it to you.
All right, cool. And his name?
I don't know.
Okay, no problem. You don't know the seller. All right, this will be a good test. I mean, why not? Call somebody at 9:30 at night in Idaho with not knowing their name. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Please leave your message for 20.
If we were lucky, he was going to say his name on the voice memo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I see you DM me today. Sorry.
Yeah.
I took the kids to a movie today.
That's fine.
If you don't dial twice, you didn't dial once. That's all there is to it. Double dial is the new single dial.
Please leave your message for.
So, my opening line to him, like if I don't know their name,
yeah,
I'll just act stupid, right? And I'll just say, hey, my name is Pace. My partner is Don Miller. I'm looking at his horrible notes. Like literally, this man has chicken scratch for notes. I'm so sorry. Don't know your name. He just told me that you're trying to sell your house, and it looks like you potentially would lose money on this house. I just want to call and get caught up to speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I overcome every anxiety-inducing moment in that conversation very quickly. Like fell on the sword, made my partner look like a knucklehead, threw you under the bus. We now have a common enemy, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I found him because he was trying to get rid of a free couch on Craigslist. So they're all over the place.
Getting a divorce. Come take my couch. Love it. Guys, this is going to happen more and more. The economy is shifting. And so you're going to get a lot of sellers that are like, oh crap, I just bought this property. Now the market is slowing down and taking a little bit of a dip. Somebody just needs to take over my payments. Okay. So I'm freaking telling you guys, oh my gosh. You guys want to gobble up houses in the next 36 months? All sub 2 and seller finance. Gobble up houses. Actually, Dan Quijano's right. He says free couch leads are the new trend. Pay attention, y'all. Actually, I think we should all be on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace tomorrow just looking for free couches and go, hey, by chance, are you going through a divorce and trying to sell your house?
Appreciate taking the time tonight.
Yeah, is this helpful?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the cash deal, I wouldn't look at that. The number one reason why that cash deal doesn't work is just because the financeability, like refinancing that deal after we build the ADU. It's like, oh crap, I've got all this money tied up. Meanwhile, I'm buying a 53 unit, a 50 unit, a 43 unit, a 408 unit deal. I'm buying all these deals with less money out of my pocket than what you're asking me to do on this ADU.
Right. But so if they did seller finance or maybe innovation, it might be something to look at.
If they did a novation or a seller finance deal all day long, like I would love to have stuff in Caldwell for sure.
Yep. Okay. I'll keep in touch with them.
Love it. Great question.
Thank you.
One of my favorite human beings, Effie.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Effie. How you doing?
Good, good. Okay. Thank you.
One of my favorite human beings.
Wait, do you have an echo?
Hi, Effie. You do, because you're listening to two things at the same time.
Okay, which one do I shut? The StreamYard or no? It must be this one. Okay, that should be better. Thank you.
Are we good?
We're good. We're good.
Love it.
Thank you.
Everybody say hello to Effie. She's a lovely human being.
Hi, everyone.
She's the teacher we all wish we had.
Well, some people might change their mind as of tomorrow morning.
Yeah, huh?
That's a separate discussion that I'd like to have with you afterwards, if you don't mind, just on the back end. But for the audience and for us on YouTube here,
Yeah.
I'd like to know, do you see any way for us to be able to scale taking over properties through foreclosure?
What do you mean scale?
Well, is it possible to kind of squat up with a number of people and be able to go either to the banks as a last resort, but to the other, to do the short sales and the, novations and things like that as a bigger group? Because
Yeah, I
I know I could probably get one house. I probably think I could do that, maybe two.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is the power of squatting up.
Yeah, there's this amazing thing. I actually just created it not too long ago. It's called sub2.com, where like you go and you join a community of other students that all squat up with each other.
Yes, I understand. And you know what? We listened to you this morning with Gator Lending.
Yeah.
And we are going to change things. We're going to try.
I know. I saw your email. I haven't had a chance because I've been my wife and little Monday are hanging out right here. But I tried to take the majority of the day with the family today, which was great.
As well you should. I just don't want to take it in the wrong direction if you happen to think that. But I believe
I have plenty of time to talk tomorrow. I'm off set. So I film on set tomorrow from 7 to 12:30. And I'd love to chat with you after that.
Okay. We're meeting at 6 a.m., but we'll go ahead and
6 a.m. What time?
Your time. We all go by your time. Yeah.
If you meet at 6 a.m., I'll jump in there.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. I'll send you, the link is on Discord. But that is very much appreciated by all Gator lenders. And
there's very few people I would do this for. I'm doing it not for a Gator tribe. I'm doing it for Effie. My wife says you're wearing a cute shirt, by the way.
You're challenging Effie to do. So she's doing a lot of work. But
Can you tell Effie likes cats?
Where's the cat?
Yeah, where's the cat?
I don't know. You just have cat stands.
Yeah, they got the cat condos. Condos, please. We're into real estate.
A kitty condo.
It's a condo. It's a kitty condo, cat condo. But look at that baby. Oh, I want to reach through and just hug her. Laura, thank you so much for what you did with us yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It was so touching and it was so appreciative. It was just great. Oh, look at her. She's going to eat the mic.
Effie, I'll see you tomorrow at 6.
6 a.m. it is. And in the meantime, we're going to try and figure out how, yes, we'll talk then. Thank you, guys.
Love it. You're the best. Thank you, Effie. Guys, it's 8:31. We have an average of about 800 live viewers between 2 YouTube channels. Man, I can't believe Heather Torres came in and hung out with us tonight. I'm actually doing a podcast with her, I believe, on Tuesday. So I'm super excited about that. Think Media is having me come on their YouTube channel. You got to love Heather and freaking Sean. They're the best.
Serious?
Yeah. What's funny is like I've been on big channels with people that are with big prolific names, but honestly, I get more excited about going on with Think Media, who's big also, like big. But I love the people at Think Media. I freaking love their team. Heather says hi. She's also, I told you she's a RVer just like us. Okay. Love you guys. Happy Sunday. We will see you guys next week on Sunday service. Guys, bring me some sellers to call. Maybe we should do this Sunday service a little bit earlier. I know we've been doing it for a year and a half every Sunday at the same exact time, but maybe next week we should do it a little earlier so we can call some sellers. I can help you guys lock up some deals, but I'll see you guys multiple times this coming week. Tomorrow, wholesale hotline, 5 p.m. Arizona time, live on YouTube. Later.